What if the weakest job in the world came with a secret multiplier that made every single kill worth 10,000 times more than it should? That's not a fantasy, that's Aiden's reality, and the entire world is about to find out the hard way. Let's rewind to where it all starts, a world that stopped being normal about 1,000 years ago. Science died, monsters crawled out of the dark, and data became the only currency that actually mattered. Everybody wakes up on Awakening Day and gets assigned a job class, your rank, your future, your whole identity handed to you in a single moment. Epic rank, legendary rank, mythic rank, those are the golden tickets, the names that get whispered with reverence in every school hallway. And then there's Aiden standing in White City High on the most important morning of his life. He's been grinding for years, 3 jobs a day, top academic scores, pouring everything into the person beside him. That person is Elra, his girlfriend, a girl he worked himself to the bone for, paying for her every demand without a single complaint. The results come in, and the entire school holds its breath. Elra awakens as a diamond rank flame mage, one of the rarest, most devastating classes in existence. Kyle, the loud, arrogant heir to a massive guild, pulls an epic rank holy knight like it's nothing. And Aiden, magic apprentice iron rank, the absolute floor of the class system, the job nobody wants and everyone pities. Level 1, 50 health points, every single attribute sitting at a miserable 1 across the board. In a world where talent is destiny, Aiden just got handed a death sentence. Kale doesn't waste a second, he steps right up with that smug grin and starts twisting the knife. Die laughing. Aiden, that's the line he throws out in front of the whole school, loud enough for everyone to hear. But the real wound doesn't come from Kale, it comes from Elra standing right beside him, looking at Aiden with eyes full of pure disgust. You really disappointed me, she says, and her voice has zero hesitation, zero warmth, just venom, clean and cold. Aiden asks her quietly if she's embarrassed by him. She doesn't even pause, she tells him he's the weakest in the entire school, that even the bottom feeders did better. Then she delivers the final blow. Break up, now, and don't ever talk to me again. 3 years of devotion, 3 years of working himself into the ground, for her deleted in under 30 seconds. Aiden goes very still. There's no crying, no begging, no scene, just that eerie, dangerous calm that comes before something changes forever. Kale keeps going, bragging about his epic rank, claiming he'll be the top of the city, mocking Aiden's face as his only remaining asset. And then the world does something completely unexpected, it freezes. A mechanical chime rings out inside Aiden's skull, louder than every insult in that hallway. Host awakening detected, unlocking godclass system, 10,000 times critical hit. His heart slams against his ribs like it's trying to escape. 1 unit of effort, 10,000 times the reward, all rewards can go critical. The world of talent just met the one thing it was never built to handle. Aiden's lips curl into a faint, dangerous smile, just the edges, just barely, and Elra sees it. It absolutely infuriates her. Because she expected tears. She expected crawling. And what she got instead was ice. Does this have anything to do with you? Aiden says. No longing, no pain. No desperate plea, just pure, unfiltered dismissal. We're done, don't contact me, move. He steps past her like she's furniture, and Elra's face twists with a rage she doesn't know how to process. She wanted a servant who would beg. What she got was a door closing, quietly and permanently in her face. Kale tries to swoop in and comfort her, flexing his epic status, but she brushes him off in a fit of rage. His ego can't handle it, he vows right there to hunt Aiden down and show him exactly what a holy knight can do. The school is already buzzing the genius student turned garbage tier apprentice, and they're placing bets on how long he lasts in the wilds. Aiden isn't listening to any of it. He's already moving, heading straight down Adventurer Street, past the shouting vendors and black market dealers and overpriced potion stands. He walks into a high-end store called Starlight and faces the clerk Lunara, a sharp-eyed woman who clearly has better things to do. He needs a wand, he needs armor, and he's completely broke because Elra spent every penny he ever saved. Lunar tries to upsell him on glowing gold rank dragon armor, but Aiden just says iron rank. 70,000 credits, his entire life savings gone in a single swipe. He walks out with basic iron armor and a rough iron wand, and Lunara watches him go with the quiet pity of someone watching a man walk toward his own funeral. She has absolutely no idea. Aiden boards the high-speed trains out to the wilds, the edge of the city where seasoned bounty hunters roam, and level 1 rookies have no business breathing. At the station, the air is pure chaos, screaming for healers, high-level boss raid callouts, merchants filling every corner with noise, and standing right in his path is Selena Petite, dangerously talented, genius of 7th high, daughter of the Warrior God Guild's leader. She's already level 12 in 1 week, fast-tracked by her father's guild resources, and she's offering Aiden a pity carry. Come with me, she says. I'll help you level up, playful, genuine, but dripping with that subtle assumption that he needs saving. Aiden's eyes don't even flicker toward her, they're fixed on the dark trees ahead. No thanks, he says. Flat and final. And he walks right past the most powerful girl in the city like she's a stop sign he chose to ignore. He steps into the brush, raises his cheap iron wand, and spots his first target, a long-haired bunny. Level 1. Iron rank. Barely a threat to anyone. He throws a fireball. The creature explodes into ash. Experience points +1. His heart sinks for a fraction of a second. Was the system a lie? Then the interface glitches. The numbers spin. And the screen shows. Experience +100, 100 times multiplier triggered. 1 kill and he's already at level 4. His blood goes cold with the sheer scale of what just became real. Another bunny falls another 100 times. Boost, and Aiden doesn't just level up. He rockets through phase strengths like the numbers were always waiting for him. Within minutes he's staring down a bronze rank elite, a bunny the size of a bear, and he downs his mana potion and detonates it. Experience +130,000, level 10, reached first class, maxed out in under an hour. He caught the city's geniuses while standing in a field of ash. But then the loot drop flashes gold, and Aiden's whole world shifts again. Crimson Flame Staff, gold rank, spirit +300, damage boost +10%, fire damage +50%. A common mob just dropped a legendary tier treasure, and Aiden's hands shake as he grips it, not from fear but from the electric realization of what this means. If a bunny can drop gold rank gear, what happens when he kills an actual boss? He doesn't go back to the city to celebrate, he goes deeper. Back at the tree line, Selena is completely frozen in the shadows, watching everything she just witnessed with a mind that refuses to process it. She saw him jump from level 1 to level 10 in minutes. She saw that gold rank glow, and she's already crafting a story in her head. He's a young lord from a hidden noble family suppressing his level to train in the dirt. That's the only explanation that makes sense to her. She pulls out her phone and calls her father. Don't ever offend him. Meanwhile, Aiden steps deeper into the forest and comes face to face with something that is very much not a bunny. The Flame Viper Silver Rank Elite. Level 13. 7,200 health, a mountain of scales and golden eyes. 6 Sibbers of pure intent to kill him slowly. This isn't a simulation, there are no respawns, sescancences, no do-overs. Cold sweat on the back of his neck, fire burning in his chest, he raises the Crimson Flame Staff as fired. The fireball hits dead center, the Viper screams and half its health bar vanishes in a single explosion. The beast retaliates, venom. Pillars of fire. Golden eyes spinning with blind rage, and Aiden moves like a ghost, darting in jagged patterns, watching every strike slam into trees instead of him. He fires again, another explosion, the giant snake lapses into burning scales. The screen goes white with notifications. Experience +270,000, 100 times multiplier triggered. And then buried in the loot flood, something that stops him cold. Skillbook blazing tornado platinum rank. Platinum, a rank that his school principal only dreams about. Dual element catastrophe. Fire and air combined. Unblockable damage. Tanacost, a skill designed to turn cities to ash. But the forest cracks with footsteps before he can process it, and a group of seasoned scavengers steps out from the shadows with greedy eyes locked on his mountain of high-tier materials. Hand it all over and walk away. A rat-faced assassin at level 14, a heavy shield knight at level 19, and a gang of 7 surrounding a kid in cheap iron armor. They see easy prey. Then one of them spots the gold rank staff glow, and greed replaces caution entirely. Kill him, that weapon alone is worth millions on the black market. They close in, and Aiden smiles, cold, mocking, and absolutely certain, because they just walked directly into point-blank range. Blazing tornado. The forest screams, a massive vortex of fire and wind erupts from the earth, 100 meters wide, turning Nightotsky into a furnace. Experienced hunters shredded, high-level armor melted like cheap wax. The whole group turned to bloody mist in seconds. One man survives, the assassin, shaking so hard he can barely stand, staring at Aiden like he's looking at something that shouldn't exist. 7 elite killers in seconds, and all he manages to choke out is, "Who are you?" Aiden doesn't answer, he's already analyzing the fight, muttering about his aim being slightly off, thinking about how to lock on faster next time. He raises the staff one more time, simple fireball. No need for dramatics, and the assassin's screaming promises of treasure are swallowed by the flame. The loot avalanche that follows nearly buries him. A critical ring. Gold rank Gale boots. Gold rank, and then a dark pulsing light that makes his breath catch. Abyssal belt diamond rank, something that shouldn't even exist in a city like this, and Aiden is holding it in his hands at level 10. He stands in the silence of a forest that used to have 7 dangerous hunters in it, doing the math. Killing multiple strong enemies at once doesn't just stack bonuses, it multiplies the multiplier, and the 100 times critical hit is just the beginning. College testing isn't a challenge anymore. It's going to be a slaughter, and every student in the country fighting over scraps of talent. is about to face a level 100 monster, wearing diamond rank gear. He looks deeper into the dark woods, eyes burning with that new hunger, and decides he's not done yet. There are bigger bosses in the dark, and every kill is a step towards something the world hasn't seen before. Then the ground screams. Hunters start fleeing the woods like terrified animals, not walking, running, and the word spreads through the panicked crowd like wildfire. Tetian the Iron Dragon, 60 meters of steel beast with 6 mechanical wings that blot out the moon. A red-named boss, a legendary nightmare that freezes every hunter in the area where they stand. But Aiden doesn't move. He looks up at the monster, and his lips curl into that dangerous, hungry smile, because to the world this is a catastrophe. But to him, it's the ultimate jackpot. A middle-aged knight plants himself between Aiden and the dragon, a level 17 bronze rank warrior, ready to throw his life away for a complete stranger. "Don't," Aiden says, his voice like ice. "I can kill this thing." The knight thinks he's completely insane. But Aiden isn't gambling. He opens his inventory and starts crushing enhancement gems. 100 of them, in a single breath. Spirit plus 10, strength plus 10, the plus 10 notifications blurring into a single roar, 1,000 extra stat points surging through his body in seconds. Then come the potions, nearly 100 damage boosters, downed in sequence until the system itself screams, "Damage limit reached." His wallet is empty, but his power is overflowing past anything this city has seen. He steps past the stunned knight and walks directly into the dragon's shadow. Iron Dragon Titan looks down at him with golden eyes full of mockery. "You little bug." The translation flashes, "You think you can challenge a god?" The dragon begins to chant, the air twisting with ancient magic and elemental lightning. And that's exactly the moment Aiden was waiting for. The dragon commits to the spell. It can't move, and Aiden raises the crimson flame staff. He doesn't lead with everything immediately. He throws a volley of fireballs first, cutting off the beast's escape routes, boxing it in. Then he releases the blazing tornado, fueled by 1,000 stack stat points, fueled by 100 damage boosters. The skill evolves a massive vortex of air, and fire erupts, 300 meters wide, turning the entire forest into a blender of pure destruction. The Iron Dragon's mockery turns to a shriek of absolute agony as the platinum rank storm begins shredding legendary steel scales like paper. The night, the forest, the very zest all swallowed by the light. Titan tries everything, pleading, offering to become a mount, screaming promises of servitude. Aiden barely shrugs. "I don't know how to turn it off," he mutters, and delivers one final earth-shattering blast. The dragon slams into a crater. The system doesn't just notify him, it explodes. Experience plus 100 million, 1,000 times critical hit triggered. 100 million experience points. And the loot that follows makes his heart actually stop. Iron Dragon's staff epic rank, Iron Dragon's armor epic rank, in a city where diamond rank items are myths told to children. He's holding 2 epic pieces at level 10. And he also has 1,000 dragon hearts, 1,000 pairs of wings, 1,000 reverse scales sitting in his storage. He's not a student anymore. He's a one-man superpower, and he has enough materials to arm an entire nation's elite. Eric, the knight who stayed to die for him, is barely standing, staring at Aiden, not as a student but as something else entirely. He's convinced he's looking at a hidden prodigy from a noble family, a young lord who gave away a diamond rank dragon wing like pocket change. Let him believe it. In this world, perception is power, and being seen as a hidden elite is a much safer cover than being a glitched magic apprentice. Aiden walks back toward White City under moonlight, leaving behind a crowd in absolute shock and a legend that's already spreading. Gossip moves faster than he does a level 10 mastering a forbidden spell. A young lord guarded by invisible level 80 masters. The story writes itself. Selena is on the phone with her father. Voice cracking. Body trembling. This isn't just a prodigy. She tells him, this is a monster hiding in plain sight. Aiden gets back to his cramped, leaking apartment and lies on his bed, staring at the ceiling. Just this morning, he was the school's laughingstock. Tonight, he's a dragon slayer sitting on a mountain of diamond-ranked treasure. He stands up, reaches into his storage and pulls out the Iron Dragon staff and armor epic rank, both in the room. It explodes with cold legendary light. He puts the armor on, grips the staff, looks at a cracked mirror on the wall, and sees a god staring back. The next morning starts the way most things in Aiden's old life did, with someone trying to ruin it. His phone screams at him. It's May, his class teacher, voice dripping with contempt. "You're a failure, Aiden, a magic apprentice skipping class dropout before you ruin our school's average." Kyle and Elra have been working the phones, using their family's influence to push him out. Aiden doesn't argue, doesn't raise his voice. "Fine," he says. "Cold and clean, I'll drop out." A dangerous smile curls his lips the moment he hangs up. They want him gone. Fine, but in 1 month the college testing begins, and by then he'll be a level 30 monster in epic rank steel. He calls a taxi, eyes already fixed on what comes next. The Reclasser Association, where they handle class change missions. where his first real upgrade is waiting. But first he checks his phone and finds Lunara from Starlight Store, messaging him in full panic. The whole city is losing its mind over the dragon kill. He opens the trending topics and finds himself staring at his own legend. Slain the dragon. Forbidden spellmaster. Mysterious young lord. The entire country is analyzing his fight frame by frame. They're talking about invisible level 8 bodyguards, tactical power suppression, bloodlines from the magic capital. Aiden shakes his head. The catastrophe they're terrified of is already sitting quietly in his inventory. He arrives at the school office to sign his dropout paperwork, and through the door he can already hear it. Elra is whispering poison into May's ear. He cheated. She says with a mocking smile, he was never hard-working. He just used girls who liked him. May's face twists with righteous fury. I knew it. She says a magic apprentice who cheats. I'm expelling him today. Elra puts on a fake sigh of pity. Oh, don't be too harsh. I'm epic rank now. Maybe I can train him to scrape into a third-rate college. Aiden's eyes go to ice. He's the dragon slayer the entire country is worshipping online, and they're in there deciding which garbage heap he belongs in. He pushes the door open. The room freezes. His presence is heavy, silent, pressing down on the air. I am dropping out, he says, and waits for the paperwork. May mocks him anyway, tells him he needs Elra to reach level 5, that without them he's nothing, just a useless apprentice with nowhere to go. Aiden looks at their stats. Elra at level 2, May barely at 12, and he's level 10, sitting on epic gear, with one fireball that would end the conversation permanently. But he's not here to burn them. He's here to sign a piece of paper and walk away with his future in his pocket. He demands the paperwork. May stamps it with furious satisfaction, swearing he'll fail completely, and Aiden signs it, grabs his copy, and walks out. The moment he clears the school gates, a massive weight lifts. No more fake friendships, no more useless classes, just power progression, clean and infinite. He takes a taxi straight to the city center and walks into the luxurious Reclasser Association, a building that usually intimidates most people into silence. He approaches the desk and hands his file to the receptionist. Tina, I need a class change. Tina freezes, staring at his papers in absolute disbelief because the file shows he maxed his level in under 1 day. She stammers, asks why he dropped out, and Aiden hits her with a stare that shuts the question down immediately. Does this affect my class change mission? She guides him to the crystal ball. He takes it and crushes it, and the system screen floods with unusual messages, label him a powerful magic genius, and drops the mission on him. Defeat a level 10 abyssal boss. The abyssal dungeon is practically a death sentence, and requires an extremely expensive permit, which means he needs to sell some of what he's carrying. He asks Tina if they buy monster materials, and she apologizes. The association only takes high-level goods. He tells her it's from a level 30 dragon boss. Tina completely freezes. She stares at him in pure horror. The mayor himself is only level 42. Aiden drops the final detail, diamond rank apprentice. Tina jumps up in sheer panic, bowing repeatedly, and rushes him to the top floor. Inside the massive office, 2 powerful men are in the middle of a heated argument. Lucian, a diamond dragon knight, and George, an epic artisan, and Tina interrupts them with the kind of nervous energy that tells everyone something massive just walked in. Lucian glances at Aiden and assumes the materials are gold rank at best. George scoffs openly, but then Aiden waves his hand and a massive pile of glowing dragon scales crashes down. 1,000 reversed dragons scales. The metallic crash shakes the room, and the office floods with blinding golden light. The men stare at their own single scale, which now looks like complete trash. Lucian gasps, apologizes for his disrespect, kicks Tina out of the room. Then Aiden opens his storage again, and the real weight of it hits the room. Thousands of dragon hearts and eyes, nearly 10,000 diamond rank materials, and Lucian's legs go numb. George stares at Aiden like he's a ghost, and says, you cast the forbidden spell, you wiped out the dragons. He assumes Aiden is a supreme noble from the sovereign city and bows trembling. Aiden ignores the panic and cuts straight to the point. I want an abyssal pass. The 2 men scramble. Lucian explains the options. Epic pass to the outer edge. Mythic pass straight into Infernal City. Aiden picks the epic pass. Wants to test the waters. The pass costs 10 million credits for a single trip, but Lucian waives the fee instantly. He only asks to buy materials before the public auction. George interrupts with barely contained excitement. He wants to use the materials to attempt forging an epic weapon. Lucian nearly chokes on his own tea. The success rate is barely 0.1%, but Aiden doesn't even hesitate. Take 1,000 pieces, try to make it, I don't care. George bows so deeply he nearly hits the floor. Fee and hands over 300 million, just to say thank you. Absolute loyalty on the spot. Lucian makes the same promise immediately. Aiden asks for high-level skill books he needs to boost his mana for the abyss, and Lucian rushes out and comes back with 7 glowing volumes. 2 platinum rank, 1 diamond rank, the absolute best a remote city like this can offer. Aiden points to 3 without hesitation. A platinum healing spell, a platinum freezing spell, a diamond rank lightning storm healing, crowd control, and massive area damage, the perfect combination. Lucian price, 2 billion total. Aiden barely reacts, just tells him to deduct it from the dragon materials, and announces he's leaving for his class change mission. Before he goes, Lucian presents a special reward, a junior medal for the Iron Dragon kill, and the moment Aiden equips it, his health doubles, his mana skyrockets, and the feeling of raw power is almost overwhelming. He heads down to the lobby, and standing right in his path with that familiar arrogant smirk is Kale, barely level 3. Still coasting on his epic rank title and his guild connections. Kale loudly mocks Aiden in front of guild leaders, who are about to go upstairs and spend a fortune on materials that belong to the exact person being mocked. Aiden just smiles and keeps walking. Those guild leaders are already rushing to buy his stuff. Let them pay their deposits. Let them build their hopes. The crash is going to be beautiful. He stops for a $10,000 meal at the city's finest restaurant, then walks to Starlight Store for mana-boosting equipment. Lunara mentions a broken platinum rank ring, 400 million credits, and laughs awkwardly, thinking he's joking. Aiden pulls out his bank card and hands her his phone. Lucian is on the line, and the city's second most powerful man speaks with absolute reverence, agreeing to cover the gap. Lunara's brain short-circuits. She runs to process the paperwork and comes back trembling, ring in hand, plus 2 free platinum skill books from the store owner, who panicked and slashed 50 million off the price. Cloaking art and Eye of Insight, 2 tools that are going to matter more than anyone realizes. Aiden examines the ring, once owned by an ancient great demon lord. Its stats are incredible, even broken, and if George can repair it later, the numbers will double. He doesn't linger. He raises his hand, crushes the epic permit, and the space around him distorts violently. Lunara gasps as he vanishes. She's finally connected the dots, the limitless wealth, the legendary connections, the forbidden spell. He's that guy. Aiden lands in a world of dead bones and pitch darkness, the abyssal sanctum, and summons a fireball just to see where he is. A level 10 skeleton soldier steps from the shadows and Aiden fires without hesitation. The skeleton shatters, 10 times multiplier, 20,000 experience, and complete garbage loot. He frowns. He's too strong for the entry-level monsters, and weak prey gives weak rewards. He needs to find something worth hunting. Then the ground shakes, a heat wave crashes into him, and a level 15 gold rank fire demon fills the corridor ahead, wings spreading in the dark air, sneers at his iron rank class and calls him a free meal. Aiden doesn't waste a word. Ultimate frost, a wave of ice explodes outward and freezes the flying demon solid, its eyes bulging in complete disbelief. Thunder's wrath immediately follows, a storm of lightning tears through the abyss and shreds the frozen demon into pieces. The boss is dead. 1 second, that's all it took. 100 times reward multiplier, 2 million experience points, hundreds of gold rank demon swords, and his second-class mission is instantly marked complete. The impossible task took exactly 1 second, and Aiden decides to stay in this dungeon a little while longer. He walks through the abyssal sanctum like it's a training ground, spamming frost and lightning in every direction, skeleton knights shattering, demons turning to ash, ghost bosses evaporating before they can react. Millions of experience points flood in with every sweep, hundreds of rare materials overflow his inventory, and the deadliest dungeon in the known world becomes his personal leveling zone. He sorts through the loot afterward, and most of it is standard gold rank good, but nothing that makes him pause. Then one item catches his eye, a starlight rank skill book from a basic skeleton knight demon's domain, a massive dark magic field that obliterates everything inside it. He hesitates for a fraction of a second. Dark magic can corrupt a human mind and ruin future class evolution, then shakes his head. Strength is absolute truth, and he learns it immediately. He raises his staff to test it. Demon's domain activates, a shockwave rips through the dark wasteland, over 100 monsters explode into pieces, and a level 13 boss evaporates instantly, 0 mana cost. Before he can process how terrifying that was, desperate screams echo through the dead wasteland. A group of teenagers sprints directly toward him, and a massive level 40 fire demon chases them down like a floating mountain of muscle and fire. Scans the fleeing group instantly. Legendary rank, epic rank, starlight rank. These aren't rookies. These are the elite, and they're running for their lives. The girl leading them is Vesper, top genius from Sovereign City, and she's screaming at Aiden to run. One of her teammates, a massive troll warrior named John, tries to hold the demon back with his shield. The demon walks through him like he's not there. The boss is named Oslu, a wanted national level target, epic rank, 5 million health points, and he's staring down at the cornered teenagers with cruel amusement. He mocks their high ranks, threatens to eat their hearts to evolve, and Vesper holds her ground without flinching, threatening him right back. warning that human lords have reached level 100, and her father could crush him. Ozlu loses his temper and unleashes a suffocating wave of dark energy. Aiden doesn't hesitate, he drinks 200 damage boost potions in rapid succession, until his attack power hits the absolute limit, then steps directly in front of Vesper. Ultimate Frost. Vesper reaches out to pull him back and freezes because the level 40 demon is completely encased in solid ice, motionless, unable to move a single inch. She snaps out of it, and screams for an attack. The elite team unleashes everything they have, colorful high-spell skills blasting the frozen boss without mercy. The health bar plummets drops to 50%, and then the ice shatters and Ozlu roars in blind rage. Vesper shifts into her draconic form, golden wings spreading, and charges, but the demon blasts her back and she crashes right next to Aiden, breathing hard. The furious demon enters its deadly second phase. Aiden looks at the exhausted elite teens and smiles calmly. They took half a boss's health, and now it's his turn. He carries 2 epic items, a starlight skill and 200 stacked damage buffs, and he stops holding back. Demon's Domain. A massive pitch-black ritual circle swallows the screaming demon, and Ozlu turns his burning eyes on Aiden with contempt, mocking him for using dark magic, assuming he can escape the deadly ritual. He's completely wrong. The circle explodes into a flood of heavy dark energy, and Ozlu's confidence turns to panic as he realizes he can't break free. Vesper and her team move to block his escape while Aiden chugs mana potion after mana potion, pumping infinite energy into the dark domain. The field expands. Ozlu's health crashes to 30%, and the demon erupts with blinding red light, pushing violently against the suffocating energy. Aiden shouts at them to hold. Vesper signals her teammate Vivi, and Vivi makes the call, sacrificing every last bit of her energy to cast a demigod boost on Vesper before collapsing. Vesper shifts into a glowing golden dragon, charges forward with her dragon roar sword, and slashes the towering demon with everything she has. The impact is deafening. Vesper gets blasted back. She spits blood and crashes at Aiden's feet and Ozlu's part, health dropping to exactly 10%. Vesper has nothing left. She looks up at Aiden in total despair and begs him to run. He cancels the dark domain, drinks more mana potions, and stares down the demon. "Give me 10 seconds. She puts her absolute trust in him and screams for John the Troll Warrior. Bleeding and broken, unleashes his frenzy blood ability, mutating into a massive giant and planting himself directly in the demon's path. Ozlu punches him. John is crushed. All 3 elite geniuses are broken on the ground, and the furious demon charges directly at Aiden. Vesper closes her eyes, preparing for the end, and then a deafening thunderclap rips her eyes back open. Thunder's wrath lightning engulfing the crippled demon, the special unblockable current ignoring all magic resistance. Ozlu roars in absolute terror. The dark domain was a trap. The real execution was always the lightning, and he's losing his mind inside the storm. Dying in rage, the demons screams ancient forbidden words. Vesper shrieks in horror. A demon's death curse and a blinding black light knocks her entire team unconscious. The dark energy slams into Aiden and the system log pops up. Cursed, he is now a glowing beacon for every demon within 10 kilometers. But Ozlu crashes to the ground. The national level epic boss is dead, and the system rewards flood in immediately. 200 million experience points, 500 glory points, a special middle rank medal, and 1,000 epic demon hearts, the ultimate material to force a class upgrade. Aiden's eyes go wide. His pathetic magic apprentice class can finally evolve, and the boss also drops a broken legendary rank flame demon staff and an epic flame demon cloak. He equips the cloak immediately, massive defense boost, plus the rare ability to fly. He heals the unconscious elite team with his new platinum healing spell, and Vesper opens her eyes to stare at the dead boss, and then at Aiden in complete disbelief. "You actually killed it." Vivi slaps her own face to make sure she isn't dreaming, and then Vesper's face goes pale. "We need to run, right now, because the flame demon wasn't the boss of this territory. It was just a servant. Demon Duke Ethan rules this area, and a Duke-level demon means at least level 60, something Aiden absolutely cannot fight at level 20. A bright red light ignites the dark sky. The heavy pressure of something much larger fills the air, and they move immediately. Aiden activates the Abyss Flame Demon Cloak and rises into the air. John looks at his wounds and grits his teeth, telling them to go without him. Vesper asks Aiden if he can carry Vivi. He doesn't want to risk his life for strangers, but he says he'll try, and if it gets too dangerous, he'll bail, which is the most honest offer anyone in that situation has ever made. Vesper pulls Vivi close, whispers to her to survive and tell her father to avenge her, but Vivi shakes her head with red eyes. Aiden doesn't have time for tearful goodbyes. He flies down, wraps his arms around both girls, and picks them up together. He shouts at John to grab his legs. John doesn't hesitate, and they all take off through the dark abyss like a shot. The cloak pushes its limits, fast enough to feel like a racing car through the air, and a massive explosion shakes the world below them, as a blade the size of a mountain appears in the sky. Vesper shouts, "My father is here, we're safe." John hears this, relaxes, and loses his grip. He falls, and without his weight the cloak destabilizes, sending Aiden and both girls into a rough but survivable landing. It's awkward in ways that make everyone's face turn various shades of red, and Aiden pulls his hands back quickly, embarrassed but insisting it was an accident. They rest. The distant battle rages, and one by one the three teens pull out calling cards. Vesper tells him the Wexley family owes him a debt. Vivi says the Taylor family will help him if he ever needs anything. John holds out a black card for his family's massive trading company. Aiden looks at them and doesn't take any of it. I saved you and you helped me kill the boss, we're even. Vesper shakes her head. You could have left us, and then asks his name. Aiden. They ask his class and level. Just curious. Skills were insane, and he answers flatly. Regular magic apprentice. John whispers to Vesper, what level is that? Is it a legendary class? Vesper stands frozen, then says very carefully, it's the basic weakest iron rank, and John freezes too because an iron rank just used a level 40 boss's freezing skills and struck down a flame demon. They don't believe it, they can't believe it. And Aiden activates his exit before they can ask anything else, vanishing before Vivi can even finish reaching out to stop him. Vesper hits herself in the head. She forgot to ask about the epic demon hearts, and then Vivi says quietly that she can track precise stats, and he really was a level 10 magic apprentice. Vesper and John don't breathe for 3 full seconds. He must be from a hidden powerful family, Vesper says, and her face turns faintly red as she glances down at where his hand landed. Back in White City, Lunara is watching a viral video of the mysterious genius and's praying he survived the abyss, and then a light flashes, and Aiden appears in front of her completely fine, not a single scratch, already walking past her. He walks into the main hall of the Reclasser Association, and stops because Kale and Elra are right there. Kale is smiling at Elra, bragging about how his father sent a level 30 expert to protect them, and how they'll reach level 10 and take the class change quest in a week. Elra spots Aiden first and looks away uneasily. Kale turns, sees him, and immediately launches into the mockery. What are you doing here? Magic apprentice. A wild monster could easily kill you. Beg me and I might let you follow us for easy experience. Aiden smiles faintly and asks one question. Is your Dragonite guild about to fall apart soon? Kale laughs out loud. Ridiculous. The guild is about to be famous across the region, and has absolutely no idea that he's laughing in the face of the person who owns every material those guild leaders just paid deposits for. Elsra steps up next, with a calculated look, telling Aiden that strength is everything, that it's too late. She's chosen Kale, and Aiden stares at her like she's describing the weather in a city he'll never visit. Your choices have nothing to do with me, he says, and I'm here to submit my class change quest. He walks to the desk while Kale and Elra stand frozen behind him, completely unable to process how a level 10 magic apprentice maxed his class in under a day. Tina recognizes his voice immediately. She checks the system and her face goes pale. Kale tries to intervene, calling Aiden a liar and telling Tina to ignore him. Elra adds that he's just trying to get her attention, and Tina frowns and ignores them both. She confirms his quest was to enter the abyss and defeat a level 10 abyss boss. Kale and Elra gasp because that mission only goes to top-tier geniuses from legendary families. Aiden confirms it's complete, though he casually omits that he actually killed a level 40 boss, and Tina prepares his badge with both hands. He takes it, asks for the president, and tells Kale and Elra to step aside. He doesn't have time for games. Elra's legs go weak. Kale clenches his fists so hard they bleed but manages one last piece of arrogance. So what if you leveled up fast? Your class is useless. Once I reach level 7 I'll crush you. Aiden smiles because Kale just gave him an idea and follows Tina to the president's office. Behind him, Elra watches the beautiful, powerful girls of the top families gathering around the man she threw away, and the regret starts eating her alive. In the president's office, Lucian walks in and immediately loses the ability to speak. Aiden is holding an epic demon's heart casually, like it's a piece of fruit, and Lucian has to grip the doorframes to stop himself from collapsing. He explains the danger. Killing an epic rank noble demon releases a death curse that makes every demon master of the abyss hunt you forever. Even high-level reclassers avoid this. The fact that Aiden has the heart means he risked everything. Of course Aiden has 1,000 of them. He asks the best way to use it. Lucian starts explaining an alchemist should make it into an enhancement potion first, and Aiden takes a big bite. Lucian stares in horror as the system notification pops up. Class change success rate increased to 45%. Without the heart the rate was 0.05%. Lucian cries out about waste. Aiden pulls out a second heart and takes another bite. Lucian's mouth drops open. Then Aiden pulls out a third. Lucian closes his eyes in pure shock, because just one of these hearts could upgrade his own diamond rank class to starlight rank. By the time Aiden finishes, his upgrade probability sits at 100%. He tells Lucian about the Dragonite guild situations, Kale, the arrogance, all of it, and Lucian doesn't hesitate for a second. As long as I'm here, the Dragonite Guild won't see a single penny. Aiden nods in satisfaction, then mentions almost as an afterthought, oh, one more thing, I killed a national class-owned red-flagged boss in the Abyss, the flame demon Oslu. The system says I need to go to Sovereign City headquarters to claim the reward. Lucian almost falls off his chair. A level 40 national class boss, he pinches his own face, then immediately volunteers to have the mayor collect the reward from the Sovereign City. As Aiden leaves, Lucian laughs to himself, reporting this kill will bring him massive credit. Maybe a promotion. Then another call comes in before he can dial the Dragonite Guild. When he hangs up, his face is serious. The Sovereign City Reclasser Association is sending their vice president here. This is about Aiden. Aiden heads to the most expensive hotel in White City, takes the presidential suite, and absorbs his profession badge in silence. The system gives him two choices for his class upgrade: become a platinum rank dark mage with the skill Darkness Mastery, or keep his current class and evolve it to platinum rank with a special skill called Apprentice's Heart. The dark class is dangerous territory. Universities reject it, evil guilds claim it, but the second options makes his eyes light up. Platinum rank magic apprentice, with Apprentice's Heart, a terrifying ability that lets him burn experience points in exchange for random stat growth. For anyone else, experience is too rare to waste on a lottery, but Aiden has hundreds of millions of it. He chooses option 2, the light explodes, and when it clears, his class has evolved platinum rank magic apprentice, and the system reveals what Apprentice's Heart actually does. He tests it immediately with 1 million experience points, gains 11 stat points, curses loudly, and decides to go bigger. He pours in 10 million experience points and gets 300 strength, 200 constitution, 40 spirit, and 100 agility, 604 stats points total from a single gamble. He keeps pushing. Luck swings wildly. Some rolls give him hundreds of points. Others give him barely anything. One catastrophic roll costs 10 million experience and returns 3 strength, 5 constitution, and 2 agility. He stops after burning most of his stash, keeping exactly 100 million experience in reserve. His raw attributes now stand at over 800 strength, 600 constitution, 400 spirit, 400 agility, total stats at 2,270. Even the epic paladin Kale at level 10 would have less than half that. He pumps his remaining 100 million experience points into leveling up. The numbers skip instantly. 11, 12, 15, all the way to level 20, and then the system locks him. Complete a second class change mission to go further, under a minute. While Elra sits at level 2. He's already thinking about the college testing, already aiming for the absolute top university in the country, when he heads back to the Reclasser Association and walks straight into the noise of his old teacher, screaming at Tina about a missing teaching reward. May brags about being invited to a city government dinner, about how Kale and Elra are her students, and then turns and bumps directly into Aiden. Her smile turns to pure disgust. "Are you regretting your choices?" she says, "wanting your student status?" She calls him a useless loser who'll stay at the bottom forever. Aiden turns and releases his aura, the cold, suffocating pressure he collected from slaughtering monsters in the abysses, and May goes deathly pale, feeling like a predator has locked eyes on her. She shuts her mouth mid-sentence and runs out of the building at a speed that surprises everyone watching. Tina watches in quiet relief and mentions May definitely isn't getting that promotion anymore. Aiden's second-class change mission requires him to kill a level 30 Abyss Noble Demon boss, but he's still carrying the demon curse, which means every high-level demon nearby will immediately sense him the moment he enters. He's weighing whether to clear the curse first when the doors burst open and a man rushes in covered in black, ash, bloodshot eyes, shaking with something that isn't fear. George, the epic artisan, screaming, "Mr. Aiden, I did it, I forged an epic-level piece of equipment." Aiden grabs his shoulders to calm him down. Tina leads them to a private VIP room, and the moment the door closes, George bursts into tears. He grabs Aiden's arm and cries, explains a painful past, a massive mistake in the Sovereign City, fleeing in shame, and this epic weapon is his redemption. The proof that he's more than the failure he ran from. Aiden listens without interrupting once, and when George finally collects himself, he pulls the item from his storage. Iron Dragon Wings epic grade flying gear, 1800 agility, 1500 constitution, 10,000 extra health, 25% physical defense boost, plus a high-speed magical burst. Aiden grins wide and genuine because this gear covers his biggest weakness. As a ranged caster, getting caught in close combat has always been his fatal gap, and this closes it completely. George watches Aiden's calm face and feels a deep wave of respect. He isn't even jumping for joy. To him, an epic item is clearly nothing special. This is the true confidence of a supreme noble genius. George tries to return the leftover Iron Dragon to Sixers, but Aiden waves it off. Keep them. Invest in yourself. A master artisan is worth the investment. Then Aiden remembers the broken staff from the flame demon Oslu and pulls it out. George reaches for it, confidently stops dead when he sees what it is, legendary rank, a strategic level weapon, and slowly pushes it back toward Aiden with shaking hands, terrified of dropping it. Aiden places it back in his hands firmly, and George stares at it with a reverence that goes beyond professional. He admits he isn't skilled enough for this, but he can call his master. Reveals that his teacher is Sean, the strongest artificer in the Sam city. A man respected even by the Empress herself. Aiden smiles, his plan is working perfectly, and asks one more thing. Do you know how to remove the Abyss Demon's curse? George looks confused, asks nervously if Aiden is cursed, and Aiden replies casually, I killed a level 40 Abyss Demon boss. George freezes, nearly drops the legendary, panics, grabs his phone, makes a hurried call, and when he hangs up says, my master arrives tomorrow night, he'll meet you at the city dinner party. Aiden takes his staff back and returns to the hotel to rest. The next morning he visits Starlight store, looking for a frontline tank pet at something to put between him and close-range shell threats. But the quality is complete trash and he walks away with nothing. By evening the city transforms, the local elite gathering at the most luxurious hotel in their finest clothes, buzzing with the kind of excitement that only happens when truly powerful people are coming to town. Ronald, leader of the Dragonite Guild, stands at the front with Kale and Elra, and Kale is already performing, telling Elra this is the world of the upper class, that if she'd stayed with Aiden she'd never be here. Elra stays quiet, nervously adjusting her elegant black evening dress, and Ronald secretly thinks she's nothing compared to the true geniuses from the capital. Lucian and George are pacing near the entrance, sweating heavily. They know the real star of the night hasn't arrived yet. Then a figure walks up to the entrance and the entire crowd turns. Kale spots him and bursts into a loud mocking laugh. What are you doing here? Do you even belong here? The whispers start immediately. Special dinner. Elite guests from Sovereign City, and Aiden is dressed casually. No guild badge. No title anyone recognizes, just the weakest iron rank magic apprentice who got kicked out of school. Lucian hears the whispers and breaks into a cold sweat, then turns and shouts at the crowd to shut up, and the silence is immediate, confused, and total. Aiden walks forward, waves off Lucian's instinct to bow, and looks straight at Kale's swollen face. I thought it was a pig's head, but it's actually Kale. Kale explodes, get out. This is not a place for someone like you. But before anyone can escalate, Leo, the leader of the Warrior Lord Guild, walks over with his daughter Selena and bows respectfully. Selena winks playfully, hey cutie, we've met before, right? And Aiden just nods and greets Leo calmly. May is watching from inside the crowd and fully expects Leo to take offense at Aiden's casual response. Instead, Leo breaks into a massive happiness and starts talking to Aiden with warmth, clearly trying to please him. May is losing her mind, trying to figure out why a powerful guild leader is acting like this. And then the entire crowd goes dead silent as a luxury car pulls up and Mayor Randy gets out, spots Aiden and runs over. He holds out his hand and practically shouts, Mr. Aiden, I am Mayor Randy, thank you for your incredible contribution to our country. Ronald feels a wave of cold dread crawling up from somewhere in his stomach. Before anyone can process the mayor's greeting, several powerful figures descend from the sky: the deputy director of the Reclasser Association, Vesper from the Wexley family, Vivi from the Taylor military family, John from the Hawthorne business group, and the crowd stops breathing. Mayor Randy steps forward to greet them, and then a 10-year-old girl steps past Luke and waves brightly. Luke announces her identity with deep, unwavering respect. The Imperial Royal Family's princess has arrived. Princess Kelsey completely ignores the shock filling the room, ignores the protocol, and runs straight at Aiden with a massive smile. You're the Aiden that Vesper's sister always talks about. Vesper coughs twice and her face goes slightly red. Aiden smiles and looks at the princess like she's a cute little girl. And when Luke gently steers the group set inside toward the banquet hall, Aiden leads the princess in, while the highest officials of the city scramble to follow. Behind them, Kale, Elra, and May stand completely frozen, feet like lead, staring at something they cannot process. Kale clenches his fists in pure rage. He's supposed to be the strongest genius in the city, and everyone is ignoring him for an iron rank apprentice. Elra stares at Vesper, and Vivi, beautiful, powerful, from families she can't touch, and realizes she's as nothing compared to what's in that room. May is already shaking. She kicked Aiden out of school and her entire career is suddenly standing on very thin ice. Mayor Randy turns around before going inside, his eyes flashing with pure anger, and calls May's name. She smiles nervously, completely missing the fury hidden behind his expression. Inside the grand hall, Vesper bows slightly to Aiden, apologizes for tracking him from the Sovereign City, and gets to her real goal. She wants to buy the heart of the flame demon Alice from him. Aiden pauses. An epic demon's heart means nothing to him. He has hundreds, and he's about to agree when Kale pushes through the crowd with a fake smile. Good evening everyone. I am Kale, epic class paladin. His face still swollen like a pig, and Vesper is immediately deeply annoyed. She dismisses him coldly. We're discussing something important with Mr. Aiden, please leave. Aiden openly mocks him. No one cares about ig fakes, and Kale snaps, pointing at Aiden and screaming that he's a useless iron rank apprentice who got kicked out of school. The room goes dead silent. Mayor Randy and Lucian turn around, expressions furious. Get out, Lucian shouts, and Kale looks at his father. And Sal sees the danger and forces a smile, tells to apologize immediately. But Kale's pride completely shatters and he refuses. I won't apologize, you're a liar. Aiden, I will expose your true face to everyone. Aiden just smirks. Okay, let's see what you've got. Kale pulls May into the center of the room and points. This is Aiden's old teacher. She caught him cheating and instead accepted punishment. He threatened her. This loser doesn't belong here. Every eye in the hall locks onto May. Randy steps forward, voice freezing cold. Teacher May, is this true? May has no proof. She took Elra's word and accepted the bribe, but backing down now means her career is dead, so she lies. Yes, it's true. The room erupts in whispers. Some nobles actually believe it, and Aiden walks up to her, perfectly calm, and asks one question. Where's the evidence? May freezes. He repeats it. Quieter, I said. Where is the proof? You can't just make things up. Vesper and Vivi are watching with pure focus. They know this man killed an abyss boss, and his complete calmness under false accusation genuinely shocks them. He whispers to Vesper, a storm in his heart, a calm face. That's a true leader. Randy can't hold back anymore. May, you better have proof or you're going to prison for slandering a city hero. He announces the full truth. Aiden didn't just kill the Iron Dragon, he single-handedly slaughtered the national class red boss, the flame demon Oslu. Level 40 abyss boss iron rank apprentice. May's jaw drops in absolute despair, and then something's in her snaps. She wheels on Elra like a wild animal. You told me he cheated, you gave me that damage potion to expel him, this is all your fault. Elra panics as the crowd stares at her with open disgust. She tries to push the blame back and May completely loses it. Lunges forward, grabs Elra by the hair, and rips her elegant black dress to shreds in front of everyone. The guards rush in and drag the screaming May away. Elra stands in the wreckage of her dress, shivering, and looks at Aiden with tearful eyes. Aiden, I was wrong, forgive me. He doesn't even glance at her. He turns to Kale instead. Anything else? And then delivers the line that detonates Kale's entire world. By the way, those diamond rank materials your guild is desperate to buy, they're mine. Kale feels it hit him like a physical blow, every single piece clicking into place. His father's beating. The surprise Aiden promised, it was all because of him. Ronald, the leader of the Dragonite Guild, completely loses his composure, grabs Kale by the collar, and forces him to his knees in front of Aiden. He slaps Kale's head and demands an apology. Kale kneels, the top genius of the city, on his knees, before an iron rank apprentice, and his voice comes out hollow. I shouldn't have done it. Aiden leans down and whispers directly in his ear. Shouldn't have done what? You only apologize because you're trapped to you hate me, you want to kill me, right? He straightens up and delivers the final blow. I'll give you a chance, a life or death duel. Right here. Right now. With this useless guy, do you have the guts? The room goes so silent you could hear a pin drop on marble. Kale snaps his head up, fists clenched until they bleed, eyes burning with unhidden murderous hatred. Then Ronald whispers urgently in his ear. Stay strong. Reject the duel. We'll get him later. Aiden notices the whispering and lets out a dark mocking smile. See, even your own father knows you'd lose. This is when Kale's pride finally breaks completely. Aiden wanted to eliminate the threat permanently. Someone like Kale, left alive and humiliated, was a future enemy who'd eventually find his footing. A life or death duel, in a safe zone, was the cleanest solution. An epic profession gets 100 stat points per level. Aiden says slowly, that's supposed to be strong, right? Kale's chest heaves. You're just garbage iron rank. High-tier professions are the future of humanity. I accept, let's duel to the death. Ronald stumbles backward in horror as Luke steps between them. Young man, you are blind. A high-tier job's guaranteed true strength, and even a legendary genius once betrayed the Empire for demons. Luke turns to Aiden with a serious tone. An epic profession is still a rare asset for humanity. It would be a for him to die here. Aiden looks at him completely unbothered. That's my business. And Luke leans in close and whispers a few words, pauses, thinks it over, and slowly nods. Luke turns to Kale and Ronald. You're done here. Consider yourselves lucky you met me. The entire crowd gasps as Luke openly states that Aiden carries multiple epic items, and that his base stats are already higher than Kale's will ever be at level 10. The nobles begin whispering about hidden heirs and secret sovereign city bloodlines, while May stares at the floor in absolute despair. If she hadn't listened to Elra, she'd be the teacher of a national hero. On the quiet balcony afterward, Luke is already waiting when Aiden slips away from the crowd. That's how people are. Luke says, they only throw flowers when you're at the top. Then his tone shifts, the college testing is coming. And the Evil Demons Guild always assassinates young talents around this time. Kale, with his high-tier class, is the perfect bait to draw them out. And to break the demon curse, Aiden needs to sacrifice at least 10 cultists of comparable level, which is exactly why Luke stopped him from killing Kale earlier. The pieces all click into place. Luke warns him. After tonight, his name will spread across the Empire, and the cultists will put a massive target on his back. His platinum cloaking skill won't hide him from their elite hunters. He advises spending 600 reputation points on an epic camouflage skill instead. Then Aiden asks the question that's been sitting in the back of his mind. What does it take to win the #1 spot testing in the national college testing? Luke shakes his head grimly. 2 mythic-level geniuses are already confirmed participants, but the Empress raised the grand prize this year, and alongside massive wealth, the top scorer wins an epic special item that can literally change a person's luck. Aiden's heart stops. Change luck, his core skill. Apprentice's heart relies entirely on luck to multiply his stats. If he could boost his luck, the stat gains would become something the system itself couldn't calculate. He has to win that prize at all costs. Luke's phone buzzes, eyes turning freezing cold. They're here, and Aiden follows him into the dark at the edge of the city. At the border of White City's wilderness, Kale staggers down a dirt road, bleeding, gripping his fists, muttering to himself, the heavens won't let me die if I can just survive until dawn. A black chain erupts from the bushes. Before he finishes, the thought pierces through his collarbone, pins him to the ground. 4 pale figures step into the moonlight, led by a man Kale recognizes instantly. Ray, a former contact, pulling out a silver rank dagger with a grin. Don't worry, Kyle, killing an epic paladin gets me a massive promotion in the Evil Demons Guild. Kale's pride vanishes in an instant, and then he starts begging, my father helped you for years. There's a guy named Aiden in the city who soloed the level 40 abyss boss. I can help you kill him, just let me join. Don't kill me. Ray licks his lips. Don't worry, Aiden will join you in hell soon enough. High above in the trees, Luke, Aiden, and a thin glasses-wearing young man named Owen sit on a massive black crow, watching everything unfold below. Owen asks nervously if using Kale as bait was risky. Luke explains that he already suspected Kale's father Ronald of supplying the cultists. This wasn't mercy, it was a trap to find their local base. Down below, Ray raises his dagger to pierce Kale's heart, and Owen suddenly jumps from the crow, draws his weapon, and shouts at the cultists. Ray drops the chain and bolts. Kale scrambles into the grass, and high above, Luke's blood pressure shoots through the roof. Luke crashes to earth like a meteor, body expanding to 3 meters, wielding a giant axe that makes the ground shatter just from the pressure. Owen, what the hell are you doing? Owen adjusts his glasses. He was worried about the city, and letting an epic paladin die seemed wasteful, and Luke's veins visibly bulge with suppressed fury. Owen's interference just blew the entire operation. The plan was to let the cultists act freely and capture them while their guard was down. Now everything is scrambled. Luke unleashes his legendary skill. Desperate's realm. Red chains erupt from the earth and bind every fleeing figure. Cultists, Kale, and Owen, slamming them all down. Then Luke swings his axe at Owen's head without a second thought. Owen shrieks. His diamond rank gear flashes. Dummy life swap, and a straw dummy gets obliterated while Owen teleports a few meters away. Sweating and screaming about his grandfather, the level 90 chief minister, Luke snarls at him, you ruined a national security operation just to play politics and protect your own interests. While Aiden floats down, dark cloak wrapped around him, watching the chaos unfold with cold eyes. Owen straightens his coat, his grandfather's name having stopped the axe, and smugly defends himself. I did nothing wrong. Luke spits on the ground. Then Aiden steps forward, ignores the political bickering entirely, draws his staff, and points it directly at the bound Kale. Thunder's wrath. Wild lightning surges out and strikes Kale down in an instant. Someone shouts to stop him. Too late. Lightning fades blackened shape on the ground. Aiden calmly puts his staff away and checks the log. Defeating the epic paladin gave him 100,000 experience and 10 uses of apprentice's heart, but Kale dropped nothing. Owen shouts that he killed someone right in front of him, and Aiden looks at him evenly. Imperial Law Article 372. Anyone determined to join an extreme evil group can be eliminated. Luke confirms as deputy head of the association he heard Kale express his intent to join the cultists. Aiden's action fits the law. Owen has no words left that don't require openly breaking Imperial law. Luke walks off with 4 captured cult members for questioning, and Owen steps close to Aiden with a cold glare. You're just a lowly iron rank magic apprentice, know your place. Aiden sees right through him. Vesper came to White City to find me, and who I am is none of your business. You're not my grandfather. Even a pig would have remembered me by now. He turns away, leaving Owen furious and unable to respond. The interrogation is brutal. Luke's methods leave the cultists barely recognizable, and one eventually cracks with useful information. 6 members remain somewhere, and the group needs to find them fast. They reach a cave with a black-robed reclasser standing outside, an insect tamer, platinum rank, who sends thousands of insects inside to scout, while Luke explains that rare classes should never be underestimated. The scout returns, 15 enemies inside, one strong one noticed the insects. Luke turns to Owen. You're the puppeteer, it's your turn. I want them alive. Owen hesitates until Luke threatens to report his non-cooperation to Garv University, and Owen makes a strange hand gesture that summons 3 golden puppets. Before they go in, Aiden asks casually, can a puppeteer make exact copies of themselves to trick the enemy? Owen almost trips. That's his most secret technique, and he stares at Aiden in genuine shock without answering. 10 minutes later, over a dozen guild members lie defeated. Luke picks 6 of them and arranges rare materials into a star formation. Step into the circle. Aiden steps inside the demon curse, transferred 3 minutes of hissing sound, and then it's gone. A massive weight lifts off his chest. The 10 guild members within the circle are dead, and the path to his next class advancement is finally clear. But before anyone can celebrate, the atmosphere shifts. Owen looks nervous and regretful, and Luke's expression turns severe. Most of the evil demon's guild members just slipped into White City while they were out here. Aiden feels the wrongness of it immediately. Evil groups run during crackdowns. They don't advance, and then it hits him. They were the distraction, not the mission. Luke pulls out his phone to call for backup, but there's no signal. He looks up at the sky with deep unease and summons his massive dark raven immediately. Everyone piles on, and the raven rushes toward the city. And then a massive flash tears across the night, and a violent explosion rocks White City, flames shooting straight up into the sky. Hovering under the moonlight above the inferno is a quid with 2 giant wings, a black beast horn, and razor-sharp teeth. Dark shadows spreading from his body, swallowing the light around him. Luke grips his axe and whispers, S-Class Fugitive Orion, the Demon Serpent, level 83 Demon Warrior. Orion looks delighted. Tyrant Luke. Level 79, this will be fun. He explodes his shadows into giant snakes and rushes forward with a hiss, and Luke activates his Tyrant's domain, body growing larger. Red chains forming a massive net across the sky, and the impact forces the raven down. Aiden grabs hold as the bird stabilizes it, and Luke shouts, get to the city. Minimize the damage. I'll follow. Using Apprentice's heart to sense the environment, Aiden spots multiple enemies hiding in the forest below and shouts for everyone to split up. Owen mocks him, stupid idea, and before he finishes the sentence, Aiden leaps off the raven and opens his flame cloak. Moments later, massive energy beams erupt from the forest below, blasting the giant dark raven straight out of the sky. Aiden folds his cloak and drops fast toward the trees, flaring it at the last second to glide safely. A blinding flash turns night into day, as Luke and Orion's battle produces a mushroom cloud that rips trees out of the ground for hundreds of meters in every direction. Aiden ducks behind a rock as debris slams against it and takes a breath. High-level battles are reality, altering one shockwave at the wrong moment and he's dead. He switches to the iron dragon wings, stays low, and finds Owen digging himself out of rubble, unharmed but furious, staring at the epic wings with poorly hidden greed. Footsteps echo through the ruined trees, the remaining guild hunters coming through systematically, and Owen immediately suggests teaming up. Aiden ignores him and flies toward the city. Owen orders a puppet to attack him from behind, running away. Coward, and Aiden looks back coldly and hits the puppet with ultimate frost, freezing it solid. A level 60 epic reclasser rushes out, vines erupting underground toward Owen, and Owen panics, detonates a puppet worth 10 billion credits, barely escapes, then screams at Aiden for help. Aiden smiles slightly. Since you tried to attack me earlier, here's a little gift, and instead of helping Owen escape, he uses Blazing Tornado to create a 400-meter fiery vortex, uses the chaos as cover to fly away, and leaves Owen's enemies with a clear path straight to the puppeteer. Owen's scream echoes into the sky as Aiden climbs high and accelerates toward the city. Approaching White City, Aiden's expression turns stone cold. Bodies cover the entrance. Soldiers wiped out instantly. An epic level threat already operating inside. He lands and moves through the streets on foot, sees fallen civilians, sees children in the wreckage, and his eyes narrow with a particular kind of cold fury. A massive explosion shakes the city center. Booming voice follows. Who dares oppose me? A 30-meter-tall golden-red phantom appears near the luxury hotel, wielding a giant hammer, and it looks exactly like Sean. Aiden rushes toward it. Sean stands in the center, surrounded by flames, the phantom towering above him, while Princess Kelsey, Vesper Vivi, and John shelter behind him, and over 50 identical black figures surround them on every rooftop. All 50 speak at once in a lazy unified voice. Hand over the princess and you live. Sean slams his hammer into the ground and launches a wave of magma. It passes directly through the black figures without touching them, and his face darkens. Shadow Assassin, one of the 4 Heavenly King's strongest lieutenants, each of the 4 Heavenly Kings at over level 90. And this lieutenant once assassinated an 85-level Imperial warrior. The black figure chuckles. It is an honor that Sean knows my name, and the demand repeats. Hand over the princess or the entire city will be destroyed. Kelsey steps forward bravely, offering to go. Sean stops her immediately. Even if you surrender, he won't spare the city. These are just clones stalling for reinforcements. At street corner, Aiden's heart is hammering. The White City is completely doomed tonight, and he is level 20 facing an 80-level boss. He backs into the shadows slowly. I need stealth skills. Escape items. A frontline tank. I cannot stay weak like this. He swears revenge against the evil demons guild, and promises himself he'll repay every single one of them when he's strong enough. Then the hair on the back of his neck stands up. A semi-transparent scythe appears from nowhere, and Aiden reacts before it lands. Ultimate frost behind him, followed immediately by Demon's Domain dark ice, freezing the pale assassin clone for a fraction of a second. The assassin raises his sight, mildly surprised. Not bad, kid. You actually noticed me. Aiden gulps a mana potion and unleashes Thunder's Wrath, lightning erupting from his body, engulfing everything, the clone taking continuous damage inside Demon's Domain, while calmly raising his giant scythe. Wild purple lightning shatters the stone pavement, debris flying in every direction, and Aiden keeps drinking mana potions, keeping the storm alive. Then he roars, I am your dad, and launches blazing tornado beneath the clone. Fire, lightning, dark energy. The street becomes a deadly hell. And moments later, the shadow clone dissolves like a bubble. Killed. Legendary rank. Shadow Assassin clone obtained epic skill book, Shadow Stealth. Aiden catches the skill book in sheer relief, an epic skill that makes him completely invisible, and his health is sitting at 30% from the scythe that caught him earlier. He casts light healing on himself, learns Shadow Stealth immediately, and steps into the gray realm of shadows. His presence, temperature, and sound completely vanishing, movement speed doubling. He moves silently toward Sean's fight, and no one notices him. Behind Vesper, Owen has dragged himself in from the chaos, missing his legs, screaming for someone to save him while lava boils a meter away. Vesper, Vivi, and John are ignoring his cries, staring toward the street where Aiden went. The explosion meant he used his strongest spell against a level 80 clone, and nobody believes a level 20 apprentice could survive that. Nobody says it out loud, but Kelsey's face goes pale with guilt. Then Aiden steps out of a dark corner looking annoyed. Owen freezes in terror. You're alive. And Aiden shouts up to Luke and Sean, who are being pulled up skyward by spatial light pillars. How do we escape once the city falls? Luke shouts back before vanishing into the sky. Survive until the space stabilizes. We'll come back for you. Trust Aiden. The massive red-black magic circle covering the sky is a space formation, a trap the evil demons guild placed over the entire city, and once enough death triggers it, White City will fall directly into the abyss. Everyone over level 50 gets ejected by the spatial energy. Sean, Luke, the Shadow Assassin, and Owen all get pulled upward and disappear, leaving Vesper, Vivi, John, Kelsey, and Aiden standing alone in a city about to merge with the abyss. Vesper tells Aiden they should find somewhere defensible and hide. Vivi agrees, says they should wait for reinforcements, and Aiden just smiles calmly. Hiding is useless. Once the demons slaughter everyone else, they'll easily hunt us down. We need to gather all survivors and take control. Vesper stares at him. You want to go on the offensive, and he lays out the strategy. Gather everyone at city center. Tanks draw enemies. Support buffs. Long-range attackers blast them. Turn desperation into organized defense. Vivi realizes it immediately. He's right. This is the only chance, and John pulls out a silver rank megaphone from his storage ring. Kelsey pulls out a golden token and holds it up, and a warm golden light engulfs Aiden. By imperial law, I appoint you temporary commander of White City. Strength plus 500. Speed plus 200. Spirit plus 500. 10,000 extra health. A shining golden title floating above his head. Aiden spreads his iron dragon wings. It rises into the sky above the city, and raises the megaphone. Attention all soldiers, reclassers, and civilians. I am Aiden, temporary commander appointed by Princess Kelsey. The abyss is invading. Move to the city center immediately. At the Reclasser Association, Tina was crouched in a room with a dagger to her heart. Then Aiden's voice echoes outside. She opens her eyes, steps out, sees him soaring golden and fearless against the spatial rifts, and drops the dagger. The crowd gathers in the city center, and Aiden stands above them and doesn't just give orders. He builds rage from despair. He points to the dead in the streets, the children in the rubble, The families the evil demons guild took and asks if they'll surrender the rest to monsters. The crowd screams never. Vesper leads the war cry. Thousands of voices shake the ground fight. Kill all the enemies, and Aiden points to the darkening sky with absolute conviction. Even if I die today, I will make those monsters regret setting foot in our world. Within minutes, the city's entire defensive structure reorganizes. Tanks up front, range behind, support on the left, and Mayor Randy Lucian and Leo step forward and bow. Salute General. Aiden drops the megaphone and issues the order cold and clean. Collect all combat resources posts. Everything and anyone who disobeys military orders will be executed on the spot. One wealthy woman tests that order immediately, screaming about her personal property and her son's military rank, and Aiden walks up with an expressionless face and ends the argument in a single cold motion. The crowd gasps, goes rigid with absolute obedience, and rushes to surrender their supplies without a single complaint. Far away in the Sovereign City Palace, Empress Era is slamming her staff against marble idiots. The abyss has invaded, and Prime Minister Felix activates the Mirror of 10,000 Cities to inspect the battlefield. In White City, the demon army arrives within the hour, a flood of nightmarish creatures pouring through the spatial frips, and Aiden stands at the front of humanity's last line in a city that should have already fallen. He commands from above on his iron dragon wings, coordinating every unit with the cold precision of someone's as Verdi stared down a dragon and an epic abyss boss and walked away both times. The battle is brutal wave after relentless wave, but the organized defense holds because Aiden turned 400 panicking survivors into a fighting force with a single speech. Every kill is rewarded, every rank is honored, and hope spreads through the survivors like heat through iron, slow at first, then impossible to contain. Vesper fights at his side and realizes something that hadn't fully landed before. This isn't just someone with a mysterious background or a powerful family. This is someone who changes the battlefield by changing what the people on it believe is possible. Vivi watches him coordinate the defense and whispers to herself, a true commander doesn't just give orders, it makes every soldier feel like the outcome personally depends on them. Hours pass, and the spatial rifts begin to destabilize, just as Luke promised they would, and the demon flood starts to thin as the city's energy disrupts the connection. Aiden watches the rifts flickering overhead and allows himself exactly 1 second of relief, then goes back to coordinating. When the space finally stabilizes and the last rift collapses, White City is still standing battered, burning in places. But standing, and the survivors look up at the sky and understand that they survived because one person refused to let them lie down. Luke descends first, face half restored, the remains of Orion's corpse already dispatched, and the moment he lands he looks directly at Aiden with an expression that has shifted from assessment to something closer to respect. Sean comes down next, massive and unhurried, and surveys the city with the quiet satisfaction of someone who expected the worst and found the best. The Sovereign City forces arrive within the hour, full military response, and they find a city that managed its own crisis before reinforcements could even land. Mayor Randy stands in the middle of the city center, with tears running down his face, and refuses to speak to anyone except Aiden first. The Evil Demons Guild's local operation is dismantled entirely, their plans, their contacts, their network in the region, all of it torn apart by the interrogations Luke conducted, and the cultists Aiden eliminated. Owen eventually surfaces. Legless no longer. Potions are efficient that way, and finds Vesper, Vivi, and John standing around Aiden in the aftermath, none of them willing to be the first to leave. He looks at the scene and says nothing, for once in his life having the wisdom to simply walk away. In the quiet after the battle, Vesper finally asks the question she's been sitting with since the abyss: how exactly does someone with a level 10 iron rank job kill a level 40 epic boss? Aiden looks at her with that faint, unreadable smile and says nothing, and somehow the silence is more convincing than any answer he could give. Kelsey tugs on his sleeve and asks if he's going to enter the college testing. He looks at her and says first place. She grins like he just made the best promise she's ever heard. Elsewhere in the city, the Dragonite Guild's financial crisis deepens overnight. Lucian's block on their funding holds firm. Their deposits stay frozen, and Ronald sits in a dim hall staring at the walls his guild used to feel proud of. Elra doesn't call Kale. She sits alone in her apartment, with the ruins of her black dress on the floor, and replays every moment in the banquet hall until she can't stand to anymore. The school that kicked Aiden out is very quiet. The next morning, May's name isn't on the promotion list, and when the morning announcements mention the city's temporary commander by name, 3 different teachers stop talking mid-sentence. The country is no longer just buzzing about a forbidden spellmaster or a mysterious young lord, it's buzzing about the magic apprentice who commanded the defense of White City while an 80-level assassin's clone was operating in the same streets. National channels analyze the fight, break down the tornado blast that leveled a block, and play the moment the shadow clone dissolved over and over. Aiden doesn't watch any of it. He's in the hotel, sorting through his new gear, the shadow stealth skill already integrated, the iron dragon wings fitted and calibrated, the epic flame demon cloak charged, making a quiet list of everything he still needs before the college testing begins. A frontline tank pet still missing. He'll need one before anything at the mythic level. The legendary staff waiting with Sean for repair, potentially his strongest weapon when restored. The Lux prize, the top of the testing, the one item that could make Apprentice's heart go from terrifying to absolutely broken. 2 mythic level geniuses already confirmed in the testing pool. He writes none of this down, he doesn't need to. It's already mapped in his head, with the same clarity he uses for combat positioning. The 6-winged baby dragon from Vesper's family arrives the following morning, a tiny epic class mount that sniffs Aiden's hand and then promptly bites it, and he names it without ceremony and adds it to his plans. It's not the frontline tank he needs, but it's a start, and it's something that grows with him. Sean comes by the hotel with George to discuss the legendary staff repair timeline, and ends up staying for 3 hours talking to Aiden about forging theory, because he's apparently the first person in years who asks questions worth answering. George listens to the whole conversation and quietly decides he's going to become the best artisan who ever lived, because working for Aiden seems like the kind of thing a person only gets one shot at. Lucian delivers the formal paperwork recognizing Aiden's contribution to the national kill count. The flame demon, Oslu, added to the records, and the reward from Sovereign City headquarters arrives through the mayor's office in a sealed case. Aiden opens it, pockets the contents without expression, and thanks Randy, who nearly bows to the floor. The college test is 1 month away, and Aiden has 100 million XP points in reserve, a second-class change mission waiting to be completed, and a list of enemies who haven't fully understood yet what they're dealing with. He was the weakest student in White City High exactly 1 day before all of this began. 1 day between laughingstock and legend, and the gap between those 2 points was not luck, not bloodline, hidden pulling strings. It was a system that multiplies everything by 10,000, attached to a person who was already willing to work 3 jobs a day before he had any reason to believe it would pay off. The world looked at a magic apprentice and saw a ceiling. Aiden looked at the same ceiling and saw the starting line. That's the thing about systems like his, they don't create ambition. They just give teeth to the ambition that was already there. Already grinding. Already refusing to stop even when everyone in the hallway was laughing. Elra wanted power attached to a person who was convenient. She got a lesson about what happens when you drop someone with infinite capacity for work and give them one good reason to aim. Kale wanted a rival to look down. And he got a permanent reminder that rank on paper means nothing next to the kind of cold, methodical competence that walks into an abyssal dungeon alone and comes back with 1,000 epic demon hearts. May wanted a classroom of future names to put on her wall. She got the most famous name in the country and 0 credit for it. The Evil Demons Guild wanted to destabilize the next generation. They accidentally handed Aiden a reason to become its commander. Every person who mocked him, every door that closed, every bet placed on how long he'd survive in the wilds, all of it became fuel. And the terrifying part is that he's still level 20. He hasn't touched the real upper limits of what the 10,000 times critical hit system can do. Hasn't seen what Apprentice's heart looks like with boosted luck. Hasn't completed his second-class change. He's 2 major milestones away from becoming something the Empire's brightest minds will need entirely new language to describe. The college testing will have mythic geniuses in it, people born already touched by heaven, already favored, already far above the curve. And Aiden will walk in as a platinum rank magic apprentice, the absolute weakest starting class in existence, still carrying that iron rank label, and he will be fine with that, because he's already been the weakest person in the room several times now, and the room always looks different by the time he's done with it. Somewhere out there, the Evil Demons Guild is regrouping, recalculating, trying to understand what hit them, because the White City operation was supposed to be clean, and instead it ended with their local network dismantled, and their S-class lieutenant's clone turned to vapor by someone who logged in as a magic apprentice. The 4 heavenly kings are going to hear about this. The Empress has already seen it in the mirror of 10,000 cities she was watching, when Aiden rose above the crowd with that golden commander title shining above his head and a city of survivors behind him. Prime Minister Felix is going to have very complicated feelings about his grandson's report. And somewhere in the Sovereign City, Vesper's family is looking at the obligation they owe a level 20 iron rank apprentice who carried their daughter out of the abyss in his arms and asked for nothing. The world is adjusting to the existence of Aiden slowly, messily, with a lot of people getting it wrong first, but it's adjusting. The legends have already formed without his input. Hidden prince, forbidden spellmaster, young lord from an ancient bloodline, prodigy suppressing his real power to train in the dirt. None of it is accurate, and all of it is going to make him harder to predict, which suits him perfectly. A system that multiplies everything 10,000 times doesn't need a reputation built on truth, it just needs time and targets. He has both. The college testing is 30 days away, and there are stronger bosses in every dungeon he hasn't touched yet. Resources Lucian is auctioning on his behalf, and a legendary staff coming back from Sean in repaired condition. There is a lot of world left to rewrite. Aiden looks out the hotel window at White City, still patching itself together, still clearing debris, still counting its survivors, and he feels something that isn't quite pride and isn't quite satisfaction. It's closer to the feeling of a door opening. He came from nothing, got handed the smallest possible starting point, watched the people he trusted Yusufans discard him, and built something out of it that no one in this world is equipped to stop. Not because the system made him unstoppable, but because the system found someone who was already unwilling to quit. That's the truth underneath all the dragon kills, and the diamond rank loot, and the epic demon hearts eaten like fruit. Power found the right person, and now that person is 30 days away from standing at the top of a national stage with mythic geniuses on either side, holding an iron rank job title, and making the whole world reconsider what the words magic apprentice are allowed to mean. The weak job in the world's most brutal system attached to the one person who figured out that 10,000 times anything is a weapon pointed in the direction of every single person who ever laughed. And Aiden is not in a hurry. He doesn't need to be. Every day between now and the testing is another day of multiplied gains, another 1,000 experience points turned into 10 million, another gold rank item turned into a diamond rank artifact. The world set its ceiling and Aiden decided to build a ladder. The laughingstock became the dragon slayer, became the temporary commander, became the name on every trending topic in the empire, and he did all of it in less time than it took Elra to reach level 2. There's a test coming. There are mythic geniuses in it. There's a prize at the top that changes luck itself. And there is one magic apprentice who is already certain, not hopeful, not ambitious, just certain that he is going to take it. Because in a world where your job defines your destiny, Aiden found something more valuable than a high-rank job. He found a system that turns every drop of effort into a flood. He found the willingness to swing that flood at everything the world told him he couldn't touch. And he found out, on the day everyone expected him to disappear, that the most dangerous person in any systems isn't the one born with the most, it's the one who refuses to stop when the numbers say they should. The Iron Dragon is Ash. The National Class Boss is a trophy in his storage. The Shadow Assassin's clone is a skill book in his inventory. The Dragonite Guild is broke. The Evil Demons Guild is regrouping. The Empire is watching. The college testing is 30 days away. And Aiden, still technically the weakest job class in the entire system, is already at level 20. Carrying epic gear, holding a legendary weapon in reserve, and sitting very quietly on 100 million experience points just waiting to be spent. The world called him a failure on a Tuesday morning. By Wednesday, it was already too late.